back to the video of the York JCB867. This is the receive side of the video. Do you know, it struck me, there must be a planet somewhere where all the microphones go. We get through 25 microphones a week here, and it's not because they come broken, it's they're missing. Right, well, as I said before, we've no circuit diagram, we know nothing. I've been making an alignment chart up as I go along, and so, guessing, I would suspect that the first receive transformer to adjust is that one. I would think we're going that one, that's going to be part of the IF, that could be the detector, that could be the detector. We'll find out. Now the radio is already receiving at 0.3 of a microvolt, so that's excellent. But as ever, we want it to be absolutely optimum. That was already spot on. I have to make a note of these as I go, so I'll know in future. Second one. Nothing gained there either. So I suspect that's going to be a receive one. Now we gained some improvement there. I'm just going to check that with a big signal. And then go back to a small signal. You can get these lopsided very easily. Yeah, that's set that spot on. This is probably a similar one, or it's the detector. I'll just check that it isn't the detector. No. Not easy to set, this one. Could be that. That therefore means the detector must be the yellow one there. So we'll go for a 100 microvolt signal. And as ever, I'm looking for the biggest audio output. And that's sealed with wax, and we'll just have to unseal that. Yeah, and there was a very slight improvement gain there. So I'm glad I did that. I'll just seal it back up. While we're at S9, we'll make sure that the S meter is reading S9. And it's reading 7.5. Now that means that that preset, which if you remember I thought was the TX meter, must be the RX meter. And I'm absolutely right that it is. So that's now set for S9. So that just leaves us with the squelch to do. Let's see what the sensitivity is like. Well, that's 0.3 of a microvolt. 0.25, 0.2, 0.15. disappears about there. That's 0.1 of a microvolt. My attenuator goes to 0.06 and we've lost it. That's 0.1. That's 0.3. So that's very good. Squelch. Set the 6-switch generator off. Put the squelch to threshold. And switch your generator back on. That's come straight in. So now put the squelch all the way round, and hey presto, it's still receiving. Now I'm going to stop the video for a moment and just make sure that there isn't some hidden preset to do the squelch, because that would be atrocious. Well, there isn't a preset for the squelch, and I've looked at the other chassis we've got, which I've been able to poke around at a bit more. So it's rather a sensitive squelch. It certainly comes in at 0.3 of a microvolt, but anything more than 1 microvolt and it won't squelch it out. So if you lived in a town, this would be an absolute no-no, but in a place like this, I suppose it would work all right. So with that, it's clunky as well, isn't it? I must look back to our review of this and see what we thought of the squelch, but I don't expect we thought much at the time. I've forgotten about that. Right, well that's it. That's all spot on. And that works very nicely. The only criticism I've got is a very weak squelch circuit. And with that we'll put it on the air and we'll see what happens from there.